Good morning, young thespians. It is Tuesday, and it is so good to be with you today. I have so much to talk about, and I will try to talk in a way that perhaps takes less than 2 hours to load. We'll see how that works out. I have several things that I want to bring up to you, and several resources that I will be putting in our assignment for you to use. I think that this week's assignment is actually really, really cool, especially if you will pay attention to the details that are included in these resources that I give you. We are recording from outside today because it's a beautiful day. You may hear cars, you may hear wind chimes, you may possibly hear my dog go into some crazy barking fit, at which time I'll pause the video. By the way, look at this. My mommy gave this to me for Christmas. Oh, no pantomiming necessary. I'll probably pause several times within this because I'll be looking at notes and looking away, and I'm also going to be doing some reading from another page as I'm recording myself reading. So some different things going on today. Okay, official, let's get started. It's Tuesday, March 31st, and this is our mini lesson on accents. Now, accents fall into the category of voice work, which we spent some time on before, when we talked about the different aspects of voice. We used accents as one of the things that you could change in order to show more about your character. We didn't spend a lot of time on it, and I allowed you to use it if you felt comfortable and if you wanted to, but it was not something that we really delved into. It is very, very difficult from a teaching standpoint to focus on accents with students of your age. This is very advanced work that is usually done on an individual basis, with just a lot of practice and a lot of listening to native speakers. If they have classes on these, they tend to be at the collegiate level, sometimes in an advanced part of that program. Right. So, if that's the case, why should we even bother? Well, for one reason, accents are a drama-focused activity that can be improved upon by working on your own. I wonder what situation we may have where we have to have a lot of time on our hands to work on our own. Looking for silver linings during the Coronication, as Ellie says. The second reason is because accents are flippin' fun. I mean, my own family, I married a fellow community theater actor. My children have been, I guess Kate was 11 months old when I started rehearsing my first play, and my son was 5, almost 5. So, they've been around this forever. What we do is things like, sometimes we'd have dinner and everybody has to talk in their own accent. Or because I have no shame and don't care about embarrassing my children, we'll go to a store and I will talk an accent the whole time I'm there. And Kate will often do that back to me, which is super cool. And actually, my husband and I spent an entire day in New York City just speaking in British accent. We did get called out, but that's okay because it's fun. All you have to say is, we're having fun. People will forgive you for stuff like that. So I always encourage fun over, like, don't worry about being embarrassed or something like that. The third reason, and if we're really being real here, is because there are so many roles for young people in youth productions that you might have an opportunity to tackle that require an accent of some kind. So just thinking of some shows, trying to do my own cue cards here, good grief. Beauty and the Beast, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, Newsies, Shrek, Little Mermaid, Mary Poppins, James and the Giant Peach, Peter Pan, Annie. I mean, there are opportunities all over the place where you really need to have some grasp of an accent. Okay, and those are just some of the ones with roles for children. I hope that many of you will continue to be performers in your teens and in adulthood, and then you'll see not only those shows, but hundreds of other shows with thousands of roles that will require accents. Now, a lot of people will say if you cannot do an accent well, you should not do it at all. And a lot of directors will choose to have someone not do an accent rather than do one poorly. At your age, we're not going to be experts on accents. However, we do want to lay down some fundamentals for you so that as you move forward, it's something that you've already got a base for and that you start to understand so that you can add to it. So the very first thing I'm going to mention is the difference between visual aid, accent and dialect. Okay, the accent is what we talk about, the actual sounds, so the phonemes. So instead of saying bathroom, saying bathroom, something like that. That would be the sounds. Now the dialect has to do with the accent plus other parts that are different. So that instead of saying I have to go to the bathroom, you might say I'll go to the loo, using the loo as a colloquialism or something that is often used by people who are in an area to describe the bathroom without that word. So they would say the loo instead of saying the bathroom. Okay, so that's the main difference. That is a very nutshell version of the difference between accent and dialect, and both of them are important. Now, if you're an actor and you're just reading the script, the accent is what you're worried about because the words that you need will be there. However, if you're working on developing your own character, or if you're improvising, which is the kind of stuff that I do when I said I go shopping with my daughter and talk like a crazy person, then the dialect is also important because you will need to have some understanding of that. I once saw an interview with Kenneth Branagh, who's a very famous British actor, director, done a whole lot of things. He's also often taken roles where he was an American. So he had to learn how to do an American accent. One day he was in a movie, I don't remember which movie it was, but he kind of was improvising a line. Sometimes actors will do that in film. They'll throw some stuff in and then the director will decide, that's crappy, we'll cut it out, or I like that, we'll keep it. And he, apparently another character was locked into the trunk of a car. And he said something like, I hear a sound coming from the boot. Well, in Great Britain, they'll say the boot of the car is the trunk of the car. And so everyone around is like, facepalm, no, that's not going to work. So those two things both go together. But right now we're going to focus on the accent part. Okay. Now, unless you study for hours and weeks and possibly even months, you're not going to become an expert. But every little bit that you learn is going to help. Those videos that I gave you already give you a little bit of insight. Some of them are just listening to native speakers. Some of them are native speakers explaining how to make a different accent. For example, the guy who's the one who's supposed to be looking like he's from Fast and Furious, he is a native Brit, but he's putting on that Cockney accent for you. So he's describing that for you. The resources that I'm going to give you today are super, super cool, and they are meant for you to use really if you want to use any kind of accent worldwide speaking English. We're going to focus on British, but after you do your assignment, I highly encourage you to go back and look at some of the other countries, see if there's anything really cool that you want to pursue. If there's any accent you really think, I've always wanted to have one of these accents. You will see, you could go to Russia and see a particular area of Russia and having this person speak a passage to you. Okay. Now, what I'm going to send you to is a group called IDEA. Had to go pull up the page. Okay, so IDEA stands for International Dialects of English Archive. And what you'll do, I'll give you the website in your assignment, is they have all the continents. So you'll go and you'll click on a continent. So if I click on Europe, It will then give me a drop down of countries within Europe. Okay, like United Kingdom is broken down. So you'll click England. Then within England, they'll have like northeast, northwest, and then under each one they'll have examples. It'll say like 31-year-old male, Liverpool. Okay, Liverpool, by the way, is the accent of the Beatles, the rock group The Beatles. They're from Liverpool. So if you were to listen to some of the native speakers from Liverpool, you might say, oh, that sounds familiar. You will notice, and if any of you have ever watched My Fair Lady, that dialects and accents can change dramatically, just even within neighborhoods in a city. I mean, of course, within a city. I mean, of course, between cities, excuse me. So, for example, within the country of England, even though it's pretty small, you have so many different nuanced accents. Now, most of what you will be doing, if you were ever to be in a show, is not those, like their characters necessarily from Liverpool, or your characters necessarily from Birmingham, or Manchester. But you will be more generic. But it's still really good to hear some of these differences so that you understand, where am I going with this? Okay. Now, they have a passage that is universal. What they do is, the original passages they used to use was called the Rainbow Passage. Now they do comma gets a cure. And they have every single person that they have an example of is reading this exact same passage. And they wrote that because it includes all of the phonemes that are included in the English language, to hear how the accent is used for every single sound that can be used in the English language. So you have an example of all of them within this one passage. It's really pretty cool. Now, is the passage exciting, and is it like a super mystery story? No, it's kind of boring. But as you listen to it over and over again, you will pick up on those nuances of the different kinds of speakers. Now, for this project, I want you to find, so I said go to Europe, England. I would go to London, okay? Listen to several of the people under London. If you are male or female, you can listen to a male or female, up to you. It's not necessary that you choose the same gender as yourself. You may decide you're more comfortable trying to imitate the same. Now, we are not becoming experts here. We're sticking our toe in the water of accents here. But what you are going to be doing is what is the best way to learn an accent, which is imitation. The best way to get started learning an accent, which is imitation. You will be imitating these native speakers. So this assignment is going to be a little bit time consuming, but not difficult. Okay? The passage, comma gets a cure, is about 4 paragraphs long. I want you to, in each one, to listen to the native speaker read the entire passage. Then you will choose one of those speakers that you want to try to emulate, and you will read the first paragraph aloud, imitating that speaker, and that will be your assignment for this week. You'll record yourself. It does not have to be visual, although it can be. Video is fine. Video or audio of you reading the first passage and trying to imitate a British accent. It might be a more proper accent. It might be a more Cockney accent. It might be something in between. I'm going to let that be up to you and what you feel most comfortable with. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to read the passage using my own flawed British accents, a more proper one and a more Cockney one, just the first paragraph. Do not use me as your example to emulate, because I am not a native Brit. Okay, it's just an example of what it might be, and so you get a little, so you can hear what that passage will sound like. Okay, comma gets a cure. Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Parry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily at an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her, and more to her liking. Even so, on the first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself into the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up a kit, and headed for work. Oh, okay, that's me trying to read it for the first time. Hopefully, you will take more time. Here would be a more proper example. Well, here's a story for you. Sarah Perry was a veterinary nurse who had been working daily. Wow, they are doing work behind me. Working daily in an old zoo in a deserted district of the territory. So she was very happy to start a new job at a superb private practice in North Square near the Duke Street Tower. That area was much nearer for her and more to her liking. Can you see the difference? You have the H's in this one, whereas the H's were not in the other one. Even so, on her first morning, she felt stressed. She ate a bowl of porridge, checked herself in the mirror, and washed her face in a hurry. Then she put on a plain yellow dress and a fleece jacket, picked up her kit, and headed for work. Okay? Just some examples for you. Right? So, in the assignment page for this, for the accents, I will be adding the specifics of what you need. I'll be adding the links to find what you need to do. And I cannot wait to hear you trying to be from a different country. All right. Love you all. Best mates. And I'll listen to you soon.